All right, guys, we are live. Tim Lauer Podcast at Island Time Studios. We got a special guest today, Wes Hicks, Off the Deep End Pool Services. He's also an active member in the Chamber of Commerce and the Lower Alabama Young Professionals. So
yeah, kind of. I got aged out, but that's okay. We won't talk too much about
still
that.
Still a mentor.
Yeah, that's right.
A huge role in the startup of it. So cool.
I did.
Also, welcome to the show.
Appreciate
Wes.
it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
So I moved down to the area, and if you're not in the area, then I apologize for this, but I moved down here about 2007, April 8th, 2007. So coming up on 16 years.
Nice.
Had family down here, moved down here, worked for the Aerospace company in Foley for about 10 years. Went into the world of air conditioning after that and decided, you know what, I need to do something on my own, kind of be that entrepreneur and have that drive so I can control what I do and how well I do it. And started Off the Deep End Pool Services last March. Was involved with the chamber a little bit before with the air conditioning world, so I knew that kind of that entrepreneur lifestyle,
okay.
I should say.
Yeah.
And kind of started doing that process, and man, it is taking off. And with networking and that kind of thing, we're moving and shaking, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's good.
Well, cool.
Yep.
Wes does our pool. Takes great care of it. Comes and check on it every 2 weeks. Make sure all my little robot parts,
that's right.
Everything's working correctly. And
there's so many different names for that thing.
Yeah,
people call it creepy crawler, old Fred, and it's a lot of different names for those things.
Yeah. Well, with ours, every once in a while, the tail comes up and sprays in a random direction, so the dogs always.
That's right. The dogs always love that.
Scary,
yeah, that's right. That's right. It's fun when you're cleaning the pool too, and that happens too. You get a little cool mist in the air. It's always nice.
That's right. That's right. Well, cool. Yep. So, starting off as a new business and already having that chamber experience and that networking experience, how huge was that for you to get your business going?
Astronomical. There's no way that I could have started that business and been as successful early on as we were without having those connections and networking and going through, having people in the community to get the word out that what I was doing. And I'll say this, you have that networking, and then once those Facebook groups, so what's happening in Foley, what's happening in Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, you get those recommendations and those referrals through that, and people just going, oh, well, Wes is doing it, call Wes. Off the Deep End Pool Services, Off the Deep End Pool Services. You can't pay for that kind of marketing. And so networking and friends and business networking, and they do become friends. And so it turns into you're a fellow entrepreneur with other business owners. Just, once again, I can't even describe how well and how much that meant to getting that business started.
Absolutely.
I can't put it into words.
That's right. Yeah. And you're right. You got to get your name out there.
Got to.
That's how people know you, who
That's
you are.
Right.
Because for me, I'm not just using a pool service. I'm using Wes.
Yeah.
Because I need a pool service.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's really about that personal connection.
It is. And the other thing that kind of we like that I don't want to say sets us apart, because there's other business. There's other pool businesses around. But me and my wife kind of... We'll talk bad about them. I'm not going to do that. But me and my wife do this, and so it's that personal connection, and a lot of times, and we don't do commercial either. So that's another thing, is we don't do all these resort pools. We don't do any of the condo pools because they're governed by the health department, and you got to go every day to check chemicals. Logistically, it just doesn't make sense. So we're kind of all residential. Nice. So we get to deal with homeowners. Now we have some rental properties through property management companies, but for the most part, it's homeowners. And having that personal connection with us too is really good.
Just a second.
No, you're good, man. I'm gonna get some of this hot coffee. Properties through.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure that the sound was okay, and it sounds great.
Okay, good.
So, cool. So we're talking about the networking, getting kicked off. You used to be in the young professionals. I love when you always said to come to the events, you have to be young or professional.
That's right. No, and I'm not, as you can tell, I'm not dressed professional. I goof off a lot.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm professional now. I've had professional roles in my working career. Cool. And I can be professional if I need to be. But
and where I was going with that was, what do you say to those young entrepreneurs, those young professionals that are, either A, getting in the business or in it, and trying to find time for everything in the network.
It's tough. It's tough. And I'll say this, and I have kids. So I have a 15-year-old stepson that's about to turn 16 next week. I've got a 7-year-old that's going to be turning 8 in a month.
Wow.
And so trying to keep that home life, and I am a little bit ahead of where most of those young guys are in life, obviously. But I tell them that networking means so much. And not only that, it helps you in your other aspects of life. It really does, because then you have that, I don't want to say close, tight-knit group of friends, but you have allies. And you have people around you that can help you. And it's monumental of how much that will help in your life. And it's going to be busy.
That's right. That's part of it.
It's kind of part of it. Now, I will say I'm fortunate enough, and I think I won't say smart enough, but maybe dumb enough. But I kind of plan my week out where I'm not working on weekends. Now, if I have to work on a weekend, I have to work on a weekend. But you got to have that time to yourself, too, and kind of step back away from the business to really put it in perspective. And I'll say this, especially with kids and wife, you got to have that family time, man.
Yeah.
Because you can build a great business. And if you don't want family, then that's fine. But if you want to have a family and you're building a great business, at a certain point, there's going to be kind of that threshold of you're really building a business, but your family's not really doing well.
Yeah.
So that family life is it's a balance.
Yeah.
It really is.
You got your wife involved, so now you can spend more.
I do. And I'll tell you what, it was kind of a driving factor in starting the business, honestly. So my wife was a general manager for a very large restaurant. She did a very good job, and honestly, her work ethic's way better than mine. So, but she's such a driven person. The other side to it was that we all know restaurant worlds, or if you don't, they're always working when everybody else is not.
That's right.
So it turned into, I miss seeing my wife, so I wanted to start something that I could bring her on board, kind of get her, not to say get her out of the restaurant industry, but get her to where she has more family time. Yeah. And it's been great. It's been the best. So, awesome. I'll say this, we're ahead of schedule. Originally, it was a 2-year plan. Yeah. And as of December, she put in her notice and came on board with the company. So,
awesome. That's big, huge congratulations.
Huge deal there. So, and it's been great ever since.
Yeah. So, well, cool. Next subject I want to get into is, being an entrepreneur and then your business starting to boom a little bit and everything else.
Sure.
Talk about different ways that people should invest their money.
It's one of those things I wish somebody would have told me when I was like in my teens or my 20s, but it just seems that everybody that's really well off or really kind of, and then once again, it could be a persona, you don't know for sure because I'm not looking at their bank account.
Okay.
But you see that everybody that's pretty successful and kind of has a lot of, I don't want to say money, but has a lot of things where you're like, all right, these guys are kind of doing a lot of things and moving and shaking.
Yep.
Real estate.
Yeah.
Real estate is somewhere tied into those guys. Now, it may not be their main aspect or anything like that, but somewhere they're like, oh, I got a couple of rental houses. Yeah. Or I got a rental property. Or
that's right.
I got commercial buildings. I mean, you're a great example. You got some commercial buildings. And honestly, I didn't know it until we were kind of talking one day and you were like, yeah, I got a few commercial properties. If you need some commercial land, let me know. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So, but it's once again, it's one of those things where a lot of these people, and living down here in a vacation world, and especially dealing with a lot of property management companies that I do, and knowing a lot of property management companies and people that own them and that kind of thing, there's a lot of big wig money, that's just tied into vacation rentals or long-term rentals or that kind of thing. So I think real estate is one of those key aspects of investing that can really be good for you in the long run.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So, my advice to any young entrepreneurs out there is, especially if you're starting a business, really work hard, save your money, get to a certain point where you can save up, 15, 20% down, buy your first investment property. What investment properties do is, people always tie it to the aspect of the money part of it, and that's great. But what it really gives you is freedom, because you have cash flow, you have passive income, you have options to move stuff around in this area we're in, like Foley, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. It's just continuing to appreciate in value and bloom.
Yeah.
So in the next 10 years, whatever you buy today, too many people are buying properties and go, man, I wish I would have bought this 10 years ago.
Right.
It's the same thing right now for 10 years from now.
Oh, absolutely.
I got this from Brandon Styles.
There you go, the crisp $100 bill.
$100 bill. It says,
I think it's fresh off the print, isn't it? I mean,
it says something like
the serial number says Brandon Styles.
Real use or something like that. Or this is actual $100 bill.
Well,
no, this is a fake one. It looks really real.
Well, you got to be careful with that. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Surprised how real it looks. But so there's a couple different ways entrepreneurs can get into real estate.
Absolutely.
So first option is what I call a house hack.
Yeah.
So you either buy a duplex and live in half of it, rent the other half out until you produce enough income to buy another one, and then rent both halves. Or if you own a current home, you buy a new property for yourself and retain the old one as a
That's exactly right.
rental property. And that way you start generating a little bit of cash flow.
Yep.
Let's say first one you generate $400 or $500 a month in cash flow, right?
Yeah.
That's your car payment. That's your insurance payment. Whatever it is, slowly start
Absolutely.
putting that back into the fund to save up.
That's right. That's right. Well, and then, you keep doing that, and then it gets to a point where, and I don't know if it's Grant that said this or another one of the, big time guys when investing, you get those rental houses that pay for your toys.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody down here wants a boat.
That's
and
right.
I'll say this, I have a boat, so I get it.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world out there on a boat.
Yeah.
But you get those properties, and that $400 or $500, well, that's a boat payment.
That's right.
Well, now a boat payment for me, that's a smaller boat, but but you can get a couple of houses and get those big boat payments, and so
right.
it turns into that, and you're right, it's a stepping stone, and I wish that when I was 18, and granted I've got life and I'm 42 now, but I wish at 18, I wish somebody would have said, I don't care what you do, you need to go buy you if you're going to college, that's fine. Get you a job, buy a house.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to live in that house for the rest of your life or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Buy that house.
That's right.
Because you can always, like you said,
yeah.
Well, oh gosh, I graduated college, now I got to go move off. No. Keep your house. Contact a property management company that's in the area. They will help you take care of that house when you move away. Okay. But you have passive income.
That's right.
And that's cash dollars coming in your pocket. So yes, the property management company will take a little bit of that, but it's cash money coming in your pocket. And then you just build from there. And it's kind of like investing in your 401k or the stock market or anything like that. Let it grow over time.
Let it grow and build.
Yeah,
that's right.
Time is your friend in that situation.
Right.
I'm 42. I don't have time. I'm on the downhill slope, man. So, but yeah, I wish somebody would have said that to me.
Yeah, and it's never too late.
It's not. You're right. No, it's not.
The money side. So
exactly.
Never too late. Some great discussion there on cash flow and real estate and everything. It's a highly sought after asset. And there's other options for entrepreneurs like yourself too. Sometimes when you get into self-managed business, your income doesn't always look like as much income because you need to put tax deductions
air quotations on that. Absolutely.
All those different things. So there's different programs to look at as far as like bank statement programs,
absolutely,
owner financing, just a lot of different options that are good to look at.
And so in I'm in a networking group called Partners in Growth. It's kind of like a BNI, but it's more local and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In that we have several lenders from banks and commercial lenders, and something that's kind of changing in the lending world that we're being told. Once again, I'm no lending expert, so please contact your local experts for confirmation on this. But, you used to have all your tax records and all this kind of stuff to get a mortgage. Nowadays, they can just look at your bank account with being an entrepreneur and see what you have coming in, see what you have going out. Now, granted, they're going to look into your account, so let's just know that that's going to happen.
That's right.
But that gets you different options for, especially like us, where we are, technically, we don't want to make any money on the books. Yeah. And that's okay. That's part of the tax code, and that's a write-off and all that kind of stuff. And that's one of the benefits of being an entrepreneur, if I can talk correctly. Oh, let me get some of this hot coffee here.
That's right.
Ooh. It's water, everybody, just so you know. But it's one of those things that now is a little more prevalent and a little more easier to get a mortgage, being a new entrepreneur, because they used to be you had to have 3 years of bank statements and that kind of thing, and now you don't have to have that. So a good mortgage company can get you that mortgage now faster than what it used to be in the past. So it's a good way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. How can people get a hold of you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. No, I'm just kidding. It's not tough. We don't want it to be tough. We want it to be easy. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Those are our main places. We're getting our website kind of finished up. Honestly, we got so busy in the first year that I wasn't able to kind of finish that process. But Off the Deep End Pool Services LLC on Facebook and on Instagram. We're on TikTok. I've made a few there. Those are kind of going to get ramped up. We got a lot of green to cleans going on right now. So
nice.
Great videos, great pictures, before and afters are going to be fantastic. We have a pool that we're just getting cleaned up since Sally.
Wow.
So it has been dirty and gross since Sally.
That's huge.
That's a big one. So yeah, so it's Facebook's usually the best way to get to us.
Okay.
251-373-3400. It's our number.
Cool.
So give me a call. I might answer. My wife might answer.
That's right.
Who knows? We may even let the kids answer. We'll have fun with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, cool. It was great having you on today,
Absolutely.
Wes. If you need any type of residential pool services, give Wes a call. He does an awesome job. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
I appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks so much, and enjoy your coffee. Water. So here, let's get that right there. There it is, right there.